Hi, my friends. I'm going to share with you a book from the Mouse Math series on Epic Books. It's called If the Shoe Fits by Jennifer Dusling, illustrated by Deborah Melman. This is a book about two mice, and they find something really special when they're on an adventure. But they need to figure out how to measure it, and they use different objects to try and measure. It's a little bit long, but I think that you will really enjoy it. And we might even try an activity from the book on our own in our houses and share the results on our Google Meet session. Albert grabbed his sister's arm. Wanda, what's that? Albert and Wanda were coming back from picking berries in the people yard. Something strange was in the grass ahead of them. They crept closer. It was big. It was red. It was Who can predict what that red object is in the grass here on this page, on page 5? Right, it looks like a sneaker or a shoe. It was a people's shoe. Albert jumped up and down. This shoe was the best thing ever. What was it doing outside? It was right where Groucho the cat could find it. Groucho had beat Albert to some great stuff before. A huge striped feather, a pink rubber ball, a dropped hot dog bun. But not this time. Wanda, we have to take that shoe home, Albert said. We can put it in the playroom. It'll be our clubhouse. Take a look at the size of the shoe here on page 6 compared to the size of Albert and Wanda, the mice. What can we say about the shoe and its size, its overall measurement, maybe its height, length, and weight? Right, the shoe is bigger than the mice. So that's why the mice can fit in it and use it as a play clubhouse. Wanda looked at the shoe. It would be a perfect clubhouse, she said, but it's big and heavy, and the playroom is far away. I don't want to get there and find out it doesn't fit. So, Albert said, we can measure it first. We don't have a ruler, Wanda pointed out. Who thinks they have some ideas about what they can use to measure since they don't have a ruler? Maybe some paper clips like we talked about earlier in the chapter, linking them together to measure. Maybe some counters or snap cubes, just like we have in our classroom. I have an idea, Albert said. I'll use my feet to measure it. Albert walked next to the shoe. He put one foot in front of the other. He counted 1, 2, 3 until he reached the end. It's 12 mouse feet long, he said. Wanda nodded. I'll double check. She measured with her feet. It's 10 mouse feet long. Albert looked at his mouse foot. My friends, why do you think they got different measurements before I continue? Why do you think? Right, everybody has feet that are different sizes. So my feet might not measure the same as your feet, so it's not a correct way to measure. Look, Albert figures it out. He says, hey, your feet are bigger than mine. That's why we got different numbers. So will measuring with their feet work? No, let's see what else they find. Let's measure it with something else, Wanda said. I know, Albert said. He reached into his backpack. Cheese! He held up a cheese stick. That's a pretty good idea, right? Don't you think, guys? I think so too. Cheese sticks are always usually about the same size. Albert measured the shoe. It was exactly 8 cheese sticks long. See here on the bottom, right here, it has the shoe with 8 cheese sticks measured underneath. Albert and Wanda crossed the yard. They scurried along next to the fence, around the flower pots, and over the log pile. Finally, they reached home. Now we need to measure the playroom, Wanda said. Albert took the cheese from the bag. Wanda looked at it. It seemed shorter. Albert, she asked, did you eat part of the cheese stick? I got hungry, he said. Oh no. What else can we measure with? Wanda asked. It has to be one size, not like mouse feet. And it has to stay the same size, not like a cheese stick. Let's see, my friends, if some of our suggestions from before are useful. Look at that. They must have heard your suggestions, room 12. Albert thought for a moment. Paper clips, he said. Albert had a paperclip collection. The purple ones were his favorites. They were all the exact same size. He ran and got them. Albert measured. Their playroom was 7 paperclips long. Look at that. They lined them up side by side, just like we learned about in chapter 11. Albert and Wanda peeked outside. No Groucho. They hurried over the log pile, around the flower pots, and along the fence. The shoe was right where they left it. Whew! I was afraid Groucho would find it, Albert said. Wanda measured the shoe. So, if you remember, friends, the playroom was 7 paper clips long. How many paper clips does the shoe need to be to fit inside? What do you think? Right, it has to be less than 7, so maybe 6 paper clips. Yeah, maybe 4, maybe 5. Let's see. It was 5 paper clips long. It would fit in the playroom with 2 paper clips to spare. Albert picked up the heel. Wanda picked up the toe. They carried the shoe along the fence. They carried it around the flower pots. They carried it to the log pile. Albert and Wanda stopped to catch their breath. Why do you think they're so out of breath from carrying this shoe? Right, it weighs a lot. That shoe was heavy. Then they climbed to the top of the log pile. Albert looked down and saw, uh-oh, friends, who do you think might be there? Someone that the mice do not get along with. Good prediction. It could be Groucho the cat. Groucho, you were right. Groucho looked up and saw Albert and Wanda. Albert shrieked. They dropped the shoe. The shoe tumbled off the log pile and hit Groucho on the nose. Groucho yelled. He ran away as fast as his cat feet could run. Albert shook his paw at Groucho. Take that, cat, he cried. Albert and Wanda raced down the side of the woodpile and grabbed the shoe. They ran as fast as their mouse feet could run. They crammed the shoe through the back door. They crammed it through the playroom door. They put it between the bookshelf and the ball hoop. It fit perfectly. Wanda and Albert's mouse clubhouse was mouse-tastic. Albert popped his head out of the toe hole. Wanda climbed the shoelace. Albert crawled through the middle, and Wanda sat on the tongue and read a book. It just needs one more thing, Wanda said. Look at that. They're playing inside, they're lounging and reading. It's perfect. On the side of the shoe, she painted, "No cats allowed." So, I think that book was super funny, but it also taught us about ways to measure. Now, if you're joining us on our Google Meets this morning, we'll do this together. But if you can't make it and you're watching this pre-recorded on our YouTube channel, you can take anything you have at home, maybe paper clips, maybe it's a coin or a counter, but it has to be the same size, or you can even use your feet and measure the length of a room in your house. I can't wait to see your results. Make sure you write and draw to show us your measurement. See you in a little while.